In Lesson 6, we're going to talk about displaying a rate situation on the coordinate plane. Now on page 17 in your workbook, you're going to see 3 rate tables that show the prices of 3 different kinds of granola. Each one has a different unit price. Do you remember unit rate? Unit rate told us how much for one, right? How many, pounds per bag, how many sketches per page. In this case, we're talking specifically about the cost of one item. So this is now unit price instead of unit rate because we're talking about, well, price. $3 per pound, $3 per box, that kind of thing. Now, we're only going to look at Table 1 together. You can do Tables 2 and 3 on your own. Let's see. In Table 1, you can see the number of pounds and the cost in dollars. So the number of pounds is your unit, and the cost in dollars is the product. Now remember, we always said it was the unit times the unit rate, or in this case, unit price, and that would give you the product. So let's see. Our first one, you can see this one row is completely filled in. 1, 3. That means 1 pound of granola costs $3. So in this case, 1 pound, that's our 1 unit, times what number gives you the $3, the product? Well, obviously it's 3. That's because this is your unit price. $3 for 1, right? $3 for 1 pound of granola. So what would it be for 2 pounds of granola? Let's see, we know the unit price is $3 per pound. And in this case, we're talking about 2 pounds. So we will have 6 pounds of granola. I'm sorry, $6 for 2 pounds of granola. How about 3 pounds of granola? Well, again, we're doing 3 times 3 here. This one's different because now we have the product and we have to figure out, the unit in this case. Does it make sense to be 4? Probably, because it looks like that's our order, but let's double check. 12 is our product, 3 is the unit price, so what number times 3 gives you 12? And that would be 4. That must be the cost for 4 pounds. Alright, 5 pounds of granola is 15. 6 pounds of granola would be 18. And of course, 7 pounds of granola would be $21. So you can see in the very middle here, each time I multiplied by the unit price. I showed you how I multiplied by 3 every single time. If you take a look at workbook page 18, you can see an example of what I just did. It says the unit rate is circled. Here's our unit rate right here. Imagine the unit rate written on the vertical rule to be multiplied by the number in the left column to get the number in the right column. So this is exactly what they're talking about. I wrote the multiplying by 3, I multiplied by the unit price right in the center of the unit and the product. You can see it over here. This table's just a little more broken up. You can see that they took the number of pounds, in this case they're using a variable for this, P, times the unit rate, or in this case unit price. So we're going to use R for rate, R for unit rate. And that's going to equal C, which is the cost in dollars for the number of pounds. So you can even write this as an equation. This is an equation that shows the relationship between the number of pounds of granola, the unit price, and its cost. Now what we're going to do is we are going to graph this information on the coordinate grid. Now you are going to receive a coordinate grid paper, and you'll be able to do this yourself. I'm going to do it here on the slide. Let's see, I might even do some different colors for the different types of granola. You may want to use different colors. I'm thinking I'm going to go with orange right now. So what I have here is I have a coordinate grid, and I also have ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are the coordinates that I need to graph points on the coordinate plane. And x is always my first coordinate, y will always be my second coordinate. So my very first set of coordinates, my very first ordered pair is 1, 3. Then I have 2, 6. Then I have 3, 9. 4, 12. And so on and so forth. This point right here on the coordinate plane, that's 0. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. This should probably be familiar to you. So let's see, my first point, 1, 3. I'm going to go over 1 on the x-axis and go up to 3 on the y-axis, so there's my point. 2, 6, I'm going to go over to 2, and then I'm going to go up to 6, right about there. I'm going to go over to 3 and go up to 9, right about there. And I could keep going, and you will see, let's see if I can get there, it is. You will see a pattern here. What I have, if I connect those dots, I know it's not perfect, but I have a straight line. When I connect all of those ordered pairs, you can see the rate situation being graphed on the coordinate plane with a straight line. If it's not a rate situation, you wouldn't have a straight line. Alright, this is what you also see on that same workbook page. They did the graphing just like I did. Each point on the graph corresponds to an ordered pair, like 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9, 4, 12. There they all are. You can see that they actually have labeled our x-axis and our y-axis. So x is on the bottom, y goes up and down. And they also labeled the x-axis as being the pounds and the y-axis as being the dollars. If you remember from the actual table, we said that this was our x and this was our y. X was for the pounds, y was for the dollars. And that's what you see in the labels on this page. Pounds for x, dollars for y. And obviously their line is a lot straighter and nicer than mine. You also see these little triangles as you go along from one point to the next. That actually is called a unit rate triangle. We're going to see more of those as we work through this unit. But what we're showing you is the unit rate here for this type of granola. It was $3 per pound. That means $3 for every 1 pound. And here it is in the unit rate triangle. Remember the bottom was pounds, right? Let's do a different color. Okay, the bottom was pounds. So if I go over to 1 pound, I'm going to go up to $3. Now if I go over another pound, I'm going up $3 more. I go over 1 more pound, go up $3. So a unit rate triangle shows you just that, the unit rate, $3 for every 1 pound. That's why every triangle is exactly the same. It's constant. Alright, here are the takeaways, and there are a lot of them just because we have a lot of vocabulary. We have what a unit price is, a unit rate that is associated with cost. The coordinate plane, this should probably be familiar to you. That's a plane with a pair of perpendicular number lines that intersect at 0. Perpendicular means they form right angles. The x-axis and the y-axis should be familiar to you. The x-axis is the horizontal number line, so that's the one that goes, from left to right. The y-axis is the vertical number line. That's the one that goes, up and down. The unit rate triangle, that's your right triangle with a base of 1. It's always going to have a base of 1, right? Because unit rate is how much for 1. So it's got to have a base of 1, and then the height is equal to the unit rate, just like the last one, the $3 per pound. Well, the height of our triangle was 3. The ordered pairs are just that, x, y, two numbers that represent a point on the coordinate plane. And of course the x coordinate is the first number in an ordered pair, and the y coordinate is the second number in an ordered pair. Also, keep in mind that rate situations can be displayed on the coordinate plane with a straight line and unit rate triangles. So you need to have a straight line in order for it to be a rate situation. And you will see that you can make unit rate triangles. They're all going to be exactly the same because you will have a constant rate.